Why is it such a big deal that the Supreme Court struck down Donald Trump's tariffs? Well, the Supreme Court hasn't struck down such an important policy initiative in around 90 years, since 1935, which is when they struck down FDR's first New Deal. And this is also the first time that this Supreme Court has ever genuinely stood up to Donald Trump's overreach in executive power. Trump himself now has two options. He can moan and groan but accept the Supreme Court's opinion, in which case he will probably continue to get conservative opinions from the court, upholding a lot of what he has to do in the future. Or he can double down and try to defy the Supreme Court, not only rhetorically, but also by disobeying it. And if he goes down that road, then it's very probable that this could be a turning point in the Supreme Court's approach to Trump, in which he loses a majority of the court and they extend their attempt to block him from acting unlawfully. The tariff case was actually a great opportunity for the Supreme Court to stand up to Trump. Imagine they had tried to stand up to Trump in, say, a detainee deportation case. They issue an order telling the president to bring someone back to the United States, and the president ignores them. That looks terrible for the Supreme Court because it shows that they're not very powerful in practice. In this case, however, you can only collect tariffs by a legal process. So if the Supreme Court says that the tariffs are unlawful, then Trump really, in fact, has to listen, and the lower courts are going to enforce the Supreme Court's decision. The three liberal justices, of course, joined the opinion striking down the tariffs. But the opinion was written by Chief Justice John Roberts, who has been increasingly skeptical of Trump's overreach in recent years, and also by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who has become, despite her deeply conservative jurisprudence, effectively the swing vote on this court, with 4 justices to her right and 4 justices to her left. Finally, Justice Neil Gorsuch, who's a dyed-in-the-wool conservative, also joined the opinion because he is concerned about what he calls non-delegation doctrine, by which he means the delegation of congressional powers to the president. He thinks that the power to tax, which it really is a power of Congress, and he considered that the delegation of that power to the president in the form of a tariff was itself unlawful. As of this moment, when I'm recording this video, a couple of hours after the Supreme Court decided, Donald Trump held a press conference in which he called the opinion a disgrace, and he called some of the justices fools and lapdogs. The justices don't like to be insulted, but frankly, they can take it. What they can't take is a direct opposition to their authority to actually make decisions. It's possible that Trump really could try to defy the Supreme Court's order here. If so, that would be a serious threat to the rule of law. It will alienate Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Barrett further, and it could mark the beginning of a period of more aggressive enforcement of the law by the Supreme Court against the Trump administration.